Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. We're going to be looking at Vapi and tools. So I'm going to take you through a step-by-step tutorial on how to create a tool, attach a tool to an assistant, connect your tool to an outside server, and then we're going to set up each tool and then see how they work. I'll go through them one by one. So first of all, we look at the function, and this is used for sending collect information to your own server like N8N. DTMF stands for dial tone multi-frequency. It allows voice assistants to enter digits on a keypad during calls for IVR systems. It's those things that go press 1 for sales, press 2. And then the query, this is used for a knowledge base. However, we are not going to be covering that because Jonas made a pretty sick tutorial on that already. So I'll just put that up right now. Then end call. This enables the assistant to terminate the current call when needed and can be custom setup. So this is on top of the one that you can already select from the UI. Transfer call allows the assistant to transfer an active call to another phone number or set destination and actually an assistant. Right, so send text lets the assistant send SMSs using a configured Twilio account. So you need that first before you can touch it. And an API request, this one's pretty sick. You can send or ask for information from an endpoint without needing a middleman like Make.com or N8N. So I'm going to go through every single one except for here. So I am right now in my Vapi account. So the three main sections that we'll be clicking into is the tools, phone numbers, or assistants. We'll start off firstly in the tools section, and we can click on create a tool, and the one that we want to pick is function. That's the one that we're going to use first. So click on this, and you get all these things here that are now empty and we have to fill out. If you've never seen this before, I'll explain every single one of these. So the tool name is things just to help you keep track of what each tool does. So I usually try to think of it as like the action for the specific thing that our assistant will be using it for. So what's going to happen in this for this specific tool is it will grab the city, the caller's city, send it over to our Make.com scenario. It'll give a response back to our agent and it'll tell us what the temperature is. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to call this one get underscore weather and use this tool to get the weather. And then click on save. From here on, there's a few other settings that are here. And this one is async. Do you need this one? No, but just while we're here and explaining for the first time, async means the tool will run in the background without waiting for a response. So it'll, for example, grab the person's name, send it over to your Google Sheet in the background, and then your assistant won't then use the context of that response in its conversation. It will just continue on. So asynchronously. Parameters. This is probably the one that we'll be using the most with the function tool. And with this one, we add these things called properties, and each property is a thing that we can collect during the phone call. So in this particular case, we'll be collecting the location of the user, which will be in the form of the city. And we click on required. So it will always try to anyway, grab the city of the user. And I might just give an example. It's good practice just so we know, because this is what the LLM is going to use to know what to send to our Make.com scenario. So now we click on apply. And the next piece of the puzzle that we need is our Make.com scenario. So we click into here. Okay, so you're going to go in below in the description, download this weather JSON, click on import blueprint. It'll be in your downloads now. As soon as you download it, you'll most likely be asked to add or do something in this module right here. So you click on add, and you call this Vapi weather or whatever you want. Click on save. You'll copy this address that you have here to clipboard, or you can drag and drop and then copy that as well. go back to your tool, go to the server URL field, paste that in, and now we can save. This is now awesome because now our agent, our AI agent, will now have access to all the temperatures in every single city of the world. So the last setting I like making, especially when our tool calls are very quick, it's like sub 1.5 seconds. So is to focus on these messages part. Now this is the area where you let the agent know what it says when it starts the tool call, when it finishes it, where it fails, or if it takes too long to call the tool. So we're going to click on start and click on none. What this means is as soon as it starts the tool, it will not say anything. So I've already pre-made the assistant here and just called it tools weather. And we've got called it abilities, and we've given it the ability to fetch the weather. I'm just going to change this because I was, prepping for my other tool. I've chosen OpenAI for a cluster. Assistant speaks first. That's my first message. For the voice, I got Vapi Elliott, transcriber, DeepGram 3.0. And now we jump into the tools, and you'll most likely have this empty like this. So this is an important step. This is where we need to now. This is what I was talking about before. Number 2 is we will attach your tool to an assistant. So we've done step 1. Now we're going to create it. And we've actually done step 3 as well because we're connected to make.com. So we jump back. Now to connect it, you'll click on this drop down and find the tool that we just created. So for me, it's called get_weather and then publish. Fantastic. Now we jump back to our model and we can click on talk to assistant, and this will let us fetch the weather from our make.com scenario. If you take these steps, it will be a lot easier to set up your make.com. So to do this, you click on your make.com scenario, make sure you save it, click on run once, okay? And make sure this little thing here is spinning. I just moved my face here. I clicked on this run once button right here. Once you have this running, go back to your system and talk to it.
Hi, I can help you find the temp in a specific city.
Great. Can you tell me the temperature in Warsaw currently?
The current temperature in Warsaw is 14.86 degrees Celsius.
So I'm just going to show you the result that I have, and it says the current temperature is 14.86. So that's exactly what it said. Now, just in case this does not work for you right from the get-go, some things you might have to troubleshoot. First of all, you should see these bubbles come up. One of these, if you had an error, it's most likely this one right here. What you might have to do is click into this field, right? Go on the tool calls, go function, arguments, and then click on the location like bread thing here, and it will automatically apply itself into this field. And now, if you see, it actually got the city from a phone call, Warsaw, and now it's right here. And I'm going to get a little bit more into the technicalities of tool calling in Vapi, because tool calling in Vapi requires 2 things for it to work. It needs the tool call ID and it needs the result. The tool call ID is what Vapi sends to, it generates like a unique identifier for itself to know what tool was used at what time, so that when it sends it back, it knows which agent used it, because this tool call ID is attached to the agent and then the phone call, because otherwise it doesn't know who sent it. In between these quotation marks, we always need the tool call ID, which we grab from this thing here. And then the result, which we grab from this right here. And if this doesn't suit a proper JSON format, it will not also work. Right. So once you have this running, you can click on immediately as data arrives and let it run in the background now. So now that you've we've done the basics of hooking up a function to your assistant, and your assistant then has the ability to go outside of its like a body and grab this. I think we now have enough basics to then look at all the other functions. And the next one is end call, the red one. Now, why would we want to use the end call tool? So Vapi has its own tool currently inbuilt into the UI. So I'll show you what that is. So you jump into tools and you go predefined functions and you can turn that on. Now this one uses the native one from Vapi. Now, let's say you don't want to use the one Vapi uses. What you can do is you can make your own end call function to let your agent know when it should exit the call. So for my one, just for the sake of it, I wanted to end my phone call when it was triggered by a specific keyword. So in my instance, it's glass. So I said end call, type this in the description, nothing in the parameters. I made it custom for the messages. So it will say, thanks for talking with me when it finishes using that tool. And then what we'll now do is go into our tools assistant. And what it does is it can end the call when the user says the word glass, and I also inserted that into the prompt. Right. So I also went into tools and I selected the end call tool. Right. Let's talk with it and see if we can end the call when we say that word.
Hi, I can terminate when you say the word glass.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Not much, just here to assist. Let me know if you need anything, or if you want to end the call, just say glass.
Yeah, glass.
Thanks for talking with me.
There you go. Cool. The next tool after this one is the transfer call tool. So, click on create tool, transfer call, and I just shortened it from transfer call tool to transfer call. And I said, use this tool to transfer to the appropriate department. Again, this is a very short description. And in here, I typed in a number that I assigned to one of my AI assistants. I also clicked on enforce E164 format because that's the way I typed it into here. And the message to customer is, this is what the agent will say to the caller when it's transferring. And this is the description you can give it when, so it knows which one to use. Why? Because in the destinations, we can have multiple destinations. So we can have, for example, a destination to transfer to an actual assistant, or we can have another destination to transfer to a SIP, like a SIP URI, or we can add a destination that will transfer to an extra phone number. So this is how you can have extra phone numbers. So let's say you had the customer care department, right? So now we'll choose that number to transfer to the customer care department. In here, we are just transferring to the sales. Right. And again, I've just chosen the blind transfer. It means it won't say anything when it's transferring, just because it's transferring to my AI agent. Right. So now we jump back to the AI assistant. I've created one specifically for this one. It will just say, hi, I can transfer you. And I just told it you can transfer. In the tools, I'll assign the transfer call tool. The biggest mistake people make with the transfer call tool is to assume that it will transfer from the web. It's not going to work because it needs to transfer you like your actual number directly. So I'm going to jump into my Twilio number that I have imported. I'm going to assign the tool transfer system to it. And I'm going to call this number with my US number just to show you guys that it works.
Hi, I can transfer you.
Hey, can you transfer me to the sales department, please?
Call now.
Hi, you've reached the sales department. Hi, Carla. How can I assist you with your sales related queries today?
Perfect. So as you heard, you need your phone number. And now let's look at the send text tool. And for this one, you need your Twilio account to be active on a paid account, and you need to also have bought yourself a number through here. You then would import it into Vapi using the phone number section, create a phone number, import from Twilio. You'll grab your number, your SID, and your auth token. You would import. Right. Once you've done that, you'll come into create tool. You'll create your you'll click on send text, and you'll get something looks like this. I've just renamed mine send underscore SMS. And all I said was use this tool to send an SMS. And here you can pick the number that you are going to sending the SMS from. Once you've done this, so you can just click on this little drop down, right? And notice it actually doesn't have like any other really setting in here. So you can't send like static messages in here. So how to send the actual body of the SMS. You need to set up an assistant for this, which will send the SMS. So firstly, in your assistant, you'll go into tools and assign your send SMS tool. You come back into model, and you'll have to have a prompt that looks more or less like this, a part of it anyway. So you just let it know that it has the send SMS ability, and I actually gave it that all it has to say with the information that we have. So we just send some info over to the person that they have an appointment booked for tomorrow at 11 a.m. Now in here for the user info, I would highly recommend dynamically putting the number of the person into your prompt. So using dynamic variables, if you're not sure what that is, for now, just stick with the static stuff. But I'll try to find you a YouTube video so you can also watch it on how to set up dynamic variables. There should be plenty that. And I've just told it when the user tells you to send an SMS, just do it. First, we need to go into the number that we imported from Twilio, assign an assistant that will actually has the SMS function assigned to it. So now let's call this.
Hi, I can send SMS.
Hey, can you send me an SMS, please?
Sure. What message would you like me to include in the SMS?
Just about my appointment, please.
SMS sent successfully.
Thank you.
If you need anything else, feel free to ask.
Yeah, it's very hard to see. But it did actually send me the SMS. Best way to make it work is to, put the actual number of the caller in the 1E64 format. Otherwise, it will ask the user to tell you the number. Okay, great. And we are getting to, I think, one of our last ones. So the last tool that we'll look at is the API request. So when you click on this, it looks like this. It says API request configuration, the tool name, the URL that you'll be sending some information to or getting the information from. And this is what we are now going to fill out. So I've already done, and I'm using Time API. What Time API is a free service to grab time or whatever time zone or location that you want to find. And here I've just sent through that I want to check the time in Europe, Amsterdam. And I've done that by coming into this. I'll check this in the description below. And I've just copied this over. So just copy that, come back into Vapi, pasted that into here. I chose get because it said get right here. And then for the headers, which is what the little H stands for, I copied in accept, and then I put in the value for it, which is application/JSON, and I didn't need to touch anything else here. So once you've created this, you'll click on save, go to assistants, and then I've made one specifically with the tools API. So we got tools and we assign the API request tool. There's that little like bug currently. It doesn't actually keep the name of the tool, of the API request tool. So let's talk about it. I'll just show you how it works.
Hi, would you like to know the current time?
Oh yeah,
Just a sec. It seems there was an issue fetching the current time.
all the times that this doesn't work is exactly when I'm recording my video. So Time API went down during this recording. However, this will work hopefully when you're watching this video. Okay, so let's set up the DTMF tool. I've already created it, so I've clicked on Create Tool, clicked on this. I've named it. I think I've kept the original name. In here, I've typed in use this tool to navigate an IVR. For instance, press 1 for sales, etc. And in here in the parameters, I click on Add Property, and I've been typed in for the name digits. Change this to number, and I typed in, you can dial one of the digits like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up. And then click on required, press on apply, and that was all that I did. The next thing was to set up your Twilio account. So for this to work, you need a active or a paid Twilio account. It cannot be on trial. So I did buy an extra number. And what I had to do is assign it to a Studio Workflow, and I'll leave this link in the description for this area as well if you want to recreate it. Basically, lets you recreate an IVR. And do is you can assign this whole flow to a specific number. So when I call this, it will say, hello, how can I direct your call? Press 1 for sales. To re-support, press 2. And then what it does is it senses what key was pressed, whether 1 or 2. And then if 1 is pressed, it will say thanks for pressing 1, and then say thanks. Or if our AI agent, because it's going to do an outbound call, presses 2, it will get transferred to this number. So the steps was make the DTMF tool, go back to assistants, create an assistant that has this kind of prompt in it. It says you are making an outbound call. You have the ability to press buttons on a mobile phone to navigate IVR systems. You must always choose one. You must always wait for the entire IVR. If you're requested to respond before the entire message is played, simply output nothing or full space to wait. And here I have first message code is assistant waits for user. So what's the use case here? I'm going to use this to navigate IVR systems. So I'm going to make an outbound call, and it's meant to choose one based on what was said. And from here, the idea is that we go to Twilio, we copy one of these numbers, we go back to Vapi, we have to click on create a phone number, import Twilio, you paste in your Twilio account ID and your auth token. You can get that by going to Twilio Home, click on here, you'll probably have my first Twilio account in here as well. Scroll all the way down and you'll see your account ID and your auth token. You'll paste them in here. Label your phone number to let you know like where you got it from, and then click on import from Twilio, and you'll end up with a number like so. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because you need a number from Twilio to make the TMF work. Otherwise, it won't. So what I do is, because I don't want to be calling up random IVR systems, is I set up the one in the Studio Flow. So I assigned a specific number to that, and that's the one that I will be calling with my agent to see whether it can navigate it. I did that by going to my number that I imported from Twilio, scrolled all the way down, typed in the number that I want to call, which is the one that I assigned to my Studio Flow, select the assistant. I called mine agent, calls IVR. We click on make the call. It makes the call. Obviously, I can't listen to it while it's live in the UI. So then I went into call logs. I'll just show you guys that it worked. So here, I'll just play the full thing.
Hello, how can we direct your call? Press 1 for sales. To reach the
Not. Thanks for pressing 1.
thanks.
Yeah. So it sounded extremely weird, but it was pressing 1. So now we click onto messages. We can see in the it used one of the tool calls was the function called DTMF, and it pressed one of the digits, which was 1. And the tool call was, or result was success. So that's how we can get our AI agent to navigate IVR systems. Obviously, you'd have to also come into tools and assign your DTMF tool to your assistant so that it work. If you're doing inbound, it's a slightly different setup, but I don't want to make this video way too long. But I think that covered most, like every single tool here except the query. And I am not going to touch these in this video, but just briefly touching on them, how you would initiate them at the very least, if that's what you were wondering, is if you click on create event on this one right here, you don't have anything to like connect up with your Google Calendar. So the way to actually connect Vapi to your calendar is to go into external provider keys on this left-hand side panel. Just gotta type in Google in my search bar. And you have Google Calendar right here. Mine says disconnect because I'm already connected, but you'll click on connect, just like these gray buttons right here, and you'll get a little pop-up. You'll just allow it everything that you need, and then if you also need Slack or Google Sheets or Go level, you would do the same for those as well. So then you would come back into tools, and you would do what I did here. You would create one tool for checking availabilities. He would create another one for booking. So use this tool to book the user into a calendar. And I had trouble making this work. There was some issues with the time zones, even though, I had Europe, Warsaw, or London already set up in my calendar. And the other issue I had was that it also was booking over slots that I already had booked in. So is this a useful thing to have within here for production? No. If you just want to just to see things pop into your Google Calendar real quick without needing to do any proper setup, that's a really quick way to get things going. However, I wouldn't use this for production level builds. I would also do the same thing with the Go high level stuff. I would use your own custom setup where you can track things, customize things, and control how they come back to Vapi as well. But anyway, I hope you guys learned how to set up functions, DTMF, end of call, transfer calls, send text, and API request, and got some knowledge about these integrations here. Great. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.